It takes them a second because it sends another notification that I went live again.
Okay.
Then they got to jump onto this one.
No, my wife said they saw us for a second.
Do
My wife said she saw us for a second. So.
Yeah. Yeah, she probably did see it. Now they're going to come in and see her out of here. 2 of them in there. Yeah, I don't know what takes so freaking long. Oh, let's see here. Go on there. What is going on here? Four people in here. Nobody said nothing. That's really odd. If you guys are using the chat over here, it is not showing up at all for some reason. People are texting. All right. Got my buddy here texting me. He says you guys can hear me, but for some reason the chat is not coming through. I don't know what's going on here. Trying to figure this out here. What's up, Sean? Aaron, I know you guys are in here. I can't see anybody else's name right now. I don't know why they're not coming through. All right, there we go. All right.
There we go.
All right, let's go back up here.
Now.
Yeah, so Aaron. Okay, what's up, Aaron? Sean Murphy made it. Doug, what's up, man? See, Jay Basson. See, you're just fine. Yeah, I had my live chat off. It was actually on the private chat.
Yeah, user error.
Yeah, definitely user error there. So, see what else. David Selbach. What's up, man? Steve, Scott. See, Dominic's on here. All right, we'll get going here. About time. Seems like his live chat gives me a fit every time we do it. All right, guys. So I will bring us up right off the bat here. So
look at that. That's nice.
That is the giveaway. We're going to do this just like we did the big giveaway. It's going to be 1 week long. We will run it till next. Oh, sorry, man. We'll run it till next week. So anybody that's a new subscriber will be entered. Anybody that refers a subscriber gets entered. Make sure when you do that they comment in the section down below in the comments and put your name in there that you referred them. Another way you can do it, the only other way is in a donation. And I know everybody on here, I've tried doing it in my live stream here. It's a pain in the butt to do with PayPal accounts. So what you have to do is you have to go to my homepage and go over to the About button or the About tab on top, and it will open that up, and you can see down there I'll have my Facebook link, my Instagram link, and then there's a donation link too. And you can go in there and donate. That's the only way I can do it until I get the channel monetized. We got to have 1,000 subs for that. So hopefully you guys will keep supporting us there and get us going. We'll get to 1,000 subs here pretty soon. So what's up, Jacob? Gary Long in the house. What's going on, man? So one of the things I told you guys we were going to talk about tonight was one of them being topwater stuff. And the second was going into the fall transition, which we'll be hitting here shortly. And I really want to get Gabe's opinion on that because I know we kind of fish the same areas. A lot of the same lakes. So, you guys want to start and ask some questions about that. We'll kind of get into all that and see what you guys think.
Yeah, I saw in the forecast coming up here in the next few days a low temperature of 58. Yeah, so
it's
start getting a little bit of that going on.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hitting early.
Yeah, it's time.
Look, man, you already made it in the chat.
All right, what's up? Shout out to the family chiming in. Sophia and Crystal and Ella, that's my wife and daughter.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Little family support, nothing wrong with that.
No, not at all.
So we're all soupy. We went out to the pond and tried out this reel a while ago and casted the sexy dog out there for a little bit. And it's raining here, so we're wearing sandals, so our feet are all
nice
soupy.
and wet.
It's kind of fun. We're sliding around here.
Yeah. Which, guys, I'll show you. We will get into this reel here. This is actually the Corrado Scorpion. Or the Shimano Scorpion, sorry. The DC reel, and I've got the Corrado DC too. We'll get into that here in a little bit too. So let's see what so with 10 horse, could we do a Kincaid tournament? We can find the 4th. Man, Aaron, we can do a Kincaid tournament anytime you want.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm up for that, man. Yeah. It's gonna take me a minute to get all this going in my brain here. Got all these comments coming up. This is awesome.
Yeah. Let's see. Backwood Boys. I haven't seen you in a while, man. So hopefully I can get back down there and go fishing with you sometime soon. Hopefully you remember me. Oh yeah, dude. I remember you. I was actually just by your house yesterday dropping my nephew off. Like I said, anytime I'm going to come over and fish the pond, just come on over and let me know. So you guys got any questions about the top water for right now? We'll kind of go over. I'll tell you probably my favorite bait, which Gabe was actually just showing, was the Sexy Dog or the Spook, either one. That is probably my top 2 favorite baits of all time in the fall. What's your opinion? What's your favorite baits on that?
I'm with you on that. I like them both. I fish a lot and you do too. A lot of the lakes we fish have grass. So you're fishing the outside edge with that Sexy Dog and the Spook. But as you move into that grass line, you're going to start throwing a frog or like a ribbit or some kind of buzz toad or something like that.
That was
you
actually,
gotta have them both on there.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. I know a lot of these guys on here, and when I say throw a frog and then it's October, people look at me like I'm nuts. But what you guys don't understand is where we live at, we have a lot of lakes that do have some heavy, thick grass mats. And I tell you what, that frogging in October, you would think is just out of the question, not going to happen. And that's when you catch some monsters on those things. I mean, they come through that grass, they're still stuck up in there. I don't really know why they stay up there so long, but
in my opinion, the best time to throw a frog in the fall is right when it's getting close to winter. I've had some of the best days over at Cedar in November, when that water's in the low 50s. And I think what's going on is the bait start moving off the main lake and they start getting into that grass because there's a little bit of heat. When the sun's out, it warms that top layer of grass. And the water temperatures are falling, so the bait is seeking, a little bit of kind of like a blanket almost.
Right.
They get up under there, they warm up, and fish move in there, and you can throw that frog over there, and you can get some massive blow-ups.
Definitely. So let's see, Aaron. Since we can't get TJ81 for water fishing together at the same time, dude, those guys are. I don't know, man. They're hard to get together. Like I said, we went together here about a month ago, and it was just on a limb, and those guys work. Through the weekends most of the time, it's hard to get them on. You got to go during the weekday, and it's not easy for everybody to get off then either. So, Jacob, what is the best bottom for right now? Jacob, I'm not sure what you meant by that, but try it again. Let me know. Gary Long, how do you decide what bait to throw when you get on the water? Gary, that's kind of an open-ended question there. It really is going to depend on where I'm going, whether it be a pond or whether it be a clear water lake, or if it's a muddy lake, stuff like that. Around where I live, my local lake, it stays muddy most of the time. If you get into like a couple weeks of no rain, stuff like that, it'll start clearing up. But a lot of times I'll go out there, I'll start off with either, if it's windy or something like that, a white spinner bait or something like that, or maybe a swim jig. Another thing, depends on what time of the year it is too. So
yeah, you can start if you're starting in the morning early. Typically you want to go with something that's moving, try to cover a little bit of water and see if you can get a feel for things. And if that's not happening, then you might, slow down, and throw a worm or a jig or something like that. But best thing to do is you start out with something moving and just get a feel for what's going on out there in the lake.
All right. So Aaron says whopper plopper. What size works best? I'll let you go on this because I got 2 opinions on this.
Well, I've been throwing that little 75 around a little bit. It's kind of nice, and it's not gonna deter any fish really. It's small enough that you can catch your smaller fish, but the big fish will blast it too. And then the 110. I mean, they're all good. They all have their place. I don't throw the big, it's like the 190. Yeah, I don't throw that because you got to have a whole nother rod for that. But all 3 of those are good options.
Yeah, I personally like the 110 for most of them, and even in my small pond, I'll even throw that 110. And I mean, you do get a lot of bigger fish on that. I will say that, but you get a lot of little fish that try to hit it too. But you end up snagging most of those.
What's your favorite color in that?
I'm gonna have to go with probably the
monkey butt because of the name.
No, it wasn't the monkey butt. It was it's the black one with the translucent bottom.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I don't remember the name of it now, but yeah, that's probably my favorite one.
I like the bone.
Bone's
hard to beat in the top water or whatever it is.
I will say, talking about Kincaid earlier, fishing over there, I quit throwing them over there. I got tired of losing them. The muskie over there just kill that thing.
Oh, right. Well, that's what they're for. That's what they're made for.
Yeah, originally. I mean, they kill them, so I quit throwing them over there. So, Scott Hash, spinner or chatter? It depends on where I'm at, and I guess whether it has grass. That's going to be my big thing. If it's clear, no grass, no nothing, I'll probably go chatterbait. If it's got any type of vegetation at all, I'm probably going spinnerbait.
You got to try them both.
Yeah, I mean, it's
in the winter,
it's a toss up there.
Yeah, late winter, early spring, I like a big spinnerbait. I mean, I like a 3/4 ounce spinnerbait with a size 7 or size 8 single Colorado blade. And then as the water warms up a little bit, I'll start going to that chatterbait.
Yeah. See, and I'm not a big Colorado blade fan at all. I'm a double willow blade guy. I've thrown I think the main time I ever throw Colorado blades is probably at Lake of the Ozarks.
Okay.
And I'm fishing deeper points. I'll throw the Colorado blade, get that bigger thump. But that's about the only time I really had good luck, I'll say, on that. But let's see what he got, Jacob.
What's up, Jacob?
Yep, there you go, Jacob. There's your shout out. What is the best bottom bait for right now? Jacob, that depends on what bottom you're talking about. If it's a mud bottom, I wouldn't suggest throwing anything on the mud bottom. You're just going to stir it up. Fish are going to have a hard time finding it. Rocks, a jig works real well. Any kind of Texas rig on the bottom is good. But mainly for big summer fish, I'm going to throw usually like a Texas rig, 10-inch worm, or a Carolina rig, something like that on the bottom.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Let's see, Doug. How fast or slow do you like to retrieve topwater baits like a spook or propeller bait? Go ahead, man.
Well, it depends on what's going on out there. Start out with a slow cadence. Well, I started with a faster cadence, and if that's not going down, then slow it down a little bit. If you got schooling fish around and the fish are hot and heavy, you can work that thing as fast as you can work it. You cannot keep that bait away from a fish. They are very fast, and if they want it and they're really feeding heavy, they're going to slam it.
Yeah.
On a prop bait, you're typically fishing that a little slower. If you're talking about like a popper prop with the front spinner and the back spinner, that's just a chug. Yeah, that actually getting back into the whopper popper. I just seen somebody else. Sean Murphy said he liked the 90 and the 110. I know a lot of guys are just a steady throw and retrieve. But I'll tell you, to be honest with you, I have better luck probably with that. As almost like a popper, you just kind of chugging along a little bit and pause, and chug along a little bit and pause. I think I've had some of my best fish come on that retrieve than I have just a steady retrieve. Right. Well, my buddy Jerry that I fish with all the time, he fishes at Kentucky Lake a lot, and they like that thing just ripped. Throw it out, reel it a little bit, let pause, and just rip it.
Right.
It sprays everything, and those fish will come up and smash it.
Yeah. Let's see here. Shannon Wren says, "How about those chatterbaits?"
What's up, Shannon?
How's it going, man?
Buddy, representing, man. Shannon's he owns the 7 Jigs hat, and I fish his jigs a lot. He makes some pretty good jigs, so check him out, man.
Yeah, Shannon, if you want, let me know. I'll put you down in the description too. Let's see. There you go, Sean. The loon. That's the color. That's what it is.
Loon, yep, that's it. I know what it looks like. I just didn't know what it was called.
Yeah. So Scott, oops, I'm at the favorite fall bait. Let me see, Scott. I may have missed something here. All right. Center chatter. Fall bait. Scott, if you get a chance, ask that question again because I may have lost it up in there somewhere.
Was he talking about spinnerbait or chatterbait in the fall? Maybe. If so, it's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
You gotta really have them both tied on and just see which one they want.
All right. So Gary Long says, "How long do you fish a bait that's not getting bites before you give up on it?"
That's a good question. that's a lifelong question right there.
Yeah, it's to me. I mean, depending on where I'm at, if I'm somewhere I'm fishing that I've caught a lot of fish and have a lot of confidence in, stuff like that, and these fish are just not biting, and I can't, and I'm fishing my confidence bait, and I'm still not getting bit, that's when I'll start going to try different things, like maybe a finesse worm or drop shot or Ned rig or something like that. But I try to personally fish my confidence baits as long as I possibly can.
And the hardest thing to figure out is when to give up on something or when to move around and just bounce around the lake and try to make that pattern happen in different spots. And you can, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't.
Yep. Oh, Tackle Junkie's in the house. What's up, man?
What's up, Tackle Junkie?
See Aaron, Berkeley Power Worm and Green Pumpkin. Oh, he's answering Jacob. Okay. Shannon Wren says, "What are your thoughts on live scan and how do you think it will affect tournaments?" I personally, I haven't seen it in person. Just watching videos on it and stuff like that. I would think it'd make a huge difference. But saying that, I watch all these professionals out there using tournaments, and they're really not killing it any more than the other guys. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know if it's really helping or not. I would think it would, but I mean, you're staring at a computer screen all day long trying to figure that out and do it. So
I think a big advantage of the live scope and the pan optics and all that is you're fishing school and fish and they move on you. They slide. You can rotate that trolling motor head and locate that school. So it's definitely an advantage in that situation.
Yeah, I definitely, because it's hard to watch a school if they aren't busting there.
That's right.
Or if they're busting here and all of a sudden they disappear for a couple minutes, you don't know which way they go. And, you can kind of follow them around. That's got to be a big advantage, you would think.
Definitely.
So, let's see here. All right. So we got going on there. Murphy. All right, Scott. Yes, not a question, just stating my favorite fall baits or spinnerbait. Oh, I got you. All right, Scott. I got you. Surprised Wadded Fishing isn't here yet. I haven't seen hotter hair of him. So, all right, guys. Caught up with the comments here a little bit, so I'm going to go into this a little bit. My opinion on the Shimano Scorpion DC reel. I forgot to look earlier what they've running. I just kind of looked real quick before I come up to the house here, and I think most of them I was seeing were right around about $280. So definitely not a cheap reel. I'm just going to throw it out there that if you are an experienced fisherman and you're comfortable with throwing a bait caster, the only time this is probably going to give you an advantage is throwing your small finesse baits and getting length out of the cast with those. Or if you're throwing like let's just say a light 1.5 square bill in the wind or a spinnerbait, something like that, then it may be an advantage to you. But other than that, I'm going to say this is a great reel for somebody starting out. I took Gabe down there and he threw it, and I'm not kidding you. You can launch this thing all the way across the pond.
Yeah, it lets go.
There's no give, there's no hold back to it, and it won't spool up on you as long as you get it set up correctly. I know talking to TJ or to Tackle Junkie, he had got the Corrado, which is actually this one right here, which is the Corrado DC. This has got the little bit bigger spool. I'll hold these up for you. So this one here is the Corrado or the Shimano Scorpion. And then this is the Corrado. Now, if you can see, I don't know if you're going to be able to tell in here or not, but the Shimano Corrado is actually a lot wider spool than what than the Scorpion is. Now, the reason being for the finesse baits and stuff like that, smaller stuff. The Corrado is actually for your normal size stuff. whether you're going to be throwing, Texas rigs or whatever. You got your little bit bigger line on there, bigger spool. But if you're just starting out fishing and you have the money to spend, I would definitely tell you to go with something like this. I mean, they're so easy to throw. It's hard to backlash them, and they'll cast a mile long. So,
and they make a cool noise too.
Yeah, they make a cool noise too. They really wind up when you get them going. So, but that, like I said, that's just my opinion. I haven't fished them a whole heck of a lot, probably about a week or so. I threw it quite a bit. I did throw it on a 1/8 ounce Texas rig bait, and I mean, it threw it out there with no problem at all, which I can tell you, all of my reels, I personally set up, they're extremely, extremely loose. Almost every single one, you can take my spools right here and just wiggle them back and forth, and they just knock back and forth on every one of them. But that's just the way I fish. So not a whole lot of people fish them that loose. But let's see. Doug Sheldon. Lots will pop up at the end. Yeah, he's pretty good about that, Doug. Just showing up at the end just to say he was there. So Mad Matt. I don't know where Mad Matt's at. Just great. Let's see. Will those help me fishing chicks? I'm guessing you make fishing creeks, I'm guessing, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a new one.
Yeah, that's fishing chicks.
Fishing creeks. Yeah, that'll help you fish creeks.
Yeah, definitely. It will work for peeps with small hands. Hey, Aaron, I got tiny hands, man. They're little fat sausages. So
yeah, it's got a small profile. Definitely.
Yeah, it's definitely small. The Corrado, on the other hand, is a little bit bigger. Like I said, it's more of a little bit bigger reel. And I did notice Tackle Junkie was actually commenting on this last night about the Corrado DC, and it didn't fit his hand real well. I personally didn't have any problems with it, but one of my favorite reels is the Shimano Corrado K, which I have, and I'm kind of used to it, so it didn't really bother me a whole heck of a lot.
I like the smaller reels.
The smaller profile, yeah.
The smaller, better.
Yeah.
To a point, as long as the spool's decently sized.
Yeah, and that's the problem I kind of run into a lot too is, having the smaller spools, you don't get as much line. I can, like this one here, this is just a regular Lew's. It's a cheap Lew's laser. This is like, I think maybe $60, something like that. It was a very inexpensive reel, but I picked it up just for frog fishing. And a full spool of that's 50-pound braid on there, and I can empty that out almost every cast if I want to on there. But
by the way, since he's mentioning Lew's, I just dropped a video last week about why I like Lew's bait casters and their customer service. So if you don't know, 10 Horse Monty, I got a channel out there. So go check that out. And their customer service is really, really good. Yeah,
and definitely, like I said, I'll put him down in the description. I had all this ready to go and everything in descriptions and all the links and everything, and then my live feed didn't work, and it was a pain in the butt. So I'll have to go back and I'll enter all that stuff, and I'll get him back in there too. So if you guys need to know where he's at, I'll put it down in the descriptions down there. So, all right, let's catch back up here. All right, what's those fishing chicks? No. All right, Sean Murphy says, I went with the SLX because the reel feels way better in the hand. Has the 150 size spool and the same DC braking system, and it's $100 less. Oh, dude, I would agree. I actually picked up one of the SLXs. It's been a couple weeks ago, and yeah, it felt just like that Scorpion did. It's a smaller profile, definitely. Jacob, that's how I fish mine. Jacob ran Dobbins rods and Lew's reels. I tell you what, Chan, I have not thrown any of the Dobbins rods yet. I'm stuck with, I really like, I'm going to say my Ducket rod is one of my favorites. I had a couple of Daiwa rods for my crankbaits and ended up breaking both of them here about a month ago. So I've got to look at a different one for that. I've actually been checking out some of the new Lew's rods. But the Dobbins rods I picked up down at Academy just to feel how they, how the weight was and stuff like that. They're extremely light. I think they'll be pretty sensitive. Have you thrown any of those?
I haven't thrown the Dobbins. Since Shannon put this question out there, when I was over at his house getting some jigs made, he let me check out his Dobbins rods, and they're nice. I didn't get a chance to fish with them, but I'm a Lew's guy. I like the Lew's rods. I like the custom light. That's my favorite rods. And, sensitive, but the guides are horrible on them. They got the little micro guides, and as a co-angler fishing the BFLs, you're wrapping all your rods together, and it doesn't take long, and those guides get smashed.
Yeah, I will definitely say that about the
Veritas are bad about that too. You know?
That's what. Well, just pointing there.
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't had any of the eyes go bad yet, but go wrong with that one, and I can't complain too much because I got a pretty sweet deal on that rod. But I love the way that thing loads up and everything. But the entire reel seat in there just gone.
Huh.
I mean, like the second day I think I threw it, it just blew up on it and it was gone.
Yeah.
But no, I was going to say my ducket rod. The line guides on that thing are. I don't know how many times I replaced those.
Are they the micros on it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. The micro guides.
Once you replace them, once you replace them, I've run them with the Fiji rod or the Fiji ones, and I haven't had any problems after those. But
I had a friend he's still a friend of mine, but he builds rods. And what I did was took some of my rods and he put double-footed guides, first 3 on the Veritas. And that's really the ones you have the most problem with is those first 3 guides coming off the reel handle. So if you got somebody that can do that, that's definitely the way to go.
Yep, definitely. Oh, Shannon said it sure is a nice hat. Yeah, I'd like to have one to match, Shannon. I don't know what's going on here.
It's my favorite hat, man. That's why it's so dirty.
All right, Jacob Caldwell. Could you shout out my YouTube channel? Because I'm putting out a video tonight. Jacob, yeah, comment down below. Let me know what your YouTube channel name is, and I'll give you a shout out. Yeah, Aaron Wetzel Dobbins, no joke, very light. Yeah, I was actually with him when he bought his other one. So.
All-Star.
Go All-Star, the All-Star Select 6 medium. Yeah, Jacob, I haven't thrown any All-Stars yet. Need to ask Tackle Junkie about those. I think he's starting to get into them.
Yeah, I just casted with the Buku the other day, right? Is that an All-Star?
That sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
So Sean Murphy, the new loose rods with the grips like golf clubs look slick.
Yeah, they're nice. That's the Custom Pro. I mean, they make them in a $99 version too, and I'm not sure the name of that rod line, but yeah, that wind grip is it does great even when it gets wet. It's got a nice soft feel, and I like the rods a lot. They're very sensitive rods.
I'll say when I went fishing with Rodney Enderley, he was talking about he's got some of them. Man, they're pretty nice to feel.
They're nice. I agree.
Aaron says backyard. You were there when I bought my Dobbins. You know it's like. Yeah, that's what I was saying, man. I was there. It's extremely light compared to that SLX rod. It was, like I said, I think the SLX rod was a little heavier. In just my opinion, maybe it was something in the store or whatever. I don't know, but it felt like it was just a hair heavier. But I still like to try either one of them. So 3-pound crappie fishing, great job, guys. We've got to start doing live feeds. Keep it up.
So 3-pound crappie fishing.
Yeah.
Go check his channel out. He's from over in Carterville, Lake of Egypt area. He does videos on Kincaid and Wren. Like I said, crappie guy, and he's got a really solid channel. A lot of stuff to learn on that channel. He's running the Garmin units. So he's got is it the Live Scope? Or yeah. So he's got several videos on how to use that technology, and very impressive stuff. So go check out his channel, man.
Yeah, definitely check him out. I'll remember there. I'll go back down. I'll subscribe to your channel here as soon as we're done too. So Doug also starting to look like Blues too. Oh, starting to like Blues too. Yeah, they're pretty good. Like I said, if I ever went out there and was gonna tell anybody about reels that are good and this and that, it would definitely be a Lose reel. Like I said before, from their cheap line all the way up to their high end lines, they're solid reels. Like I said, this little laser right here, I think, like I said, it was like $60. I think wherever I got it, I don't even remember. And I have had 0 issues out of that thing.
Yeah, and if you're ever out in the Springfield area, they've got the outdoor
the outlet there. Yeah,
it's kind of nice.
Definitely. So let's see. Jacob Cobble says Jacob Cobble. I'm guessing that's your channel. All right, everybody, go check out Jacob Cobwell's YouTube channel. He's going to put out a video tonight. So Shannon, I'll see what I can do. Maybe pass along a couple sample jigs. Hey, that'd be awesome, man.
That'd be great.
So what's Tackle Junkie Doug? All right. You let your wife throw those reels yet? Actually, Trevor, yeah, I did. She threw it. He actually threw it, and we're talking about a son-in-law that could. I'm just going to try to be nice here. If there is one single tree around a 300-acre lake, he will be on the top of it. And he threw that reel like it was nothing. I mean, like he's been throwing a bait caster for years. So he absolutely loved it until I told him the price, and then he put it down. So,
Right.
yeah, Tackle Junkie says Lose makes solid reels for sure. Yeah, they're like I said, they're the only reel company out there that I can really brag on as far as having a low end line. That I even see them at Walmart now for $50-$60, something like that. There might be some cheaper now, I don't know, but like I said, their cheap line all the way up to their high end stuff it's just phenomenal. It's a solid reel. I would put it all the way up there. The other one that Tackle Junkie brags on was the Pro Qualifier for $50. That was a solid reel.
Yeah, that's a good reel.
I mean, I think I usually got about 3 or 4 years out of them at least, with no problems. So let's see. I think the Lose LFS is the best reel for $100 range. It's built solid. Yeah, definitely. I actually have one of those on one of my other rods out in the boat. Let's see. Backyard Bass, and we briefly chat yesterday about setting up bait casters for flipping and pitching. Thoughts and pin settings and mag settings. There you go, man. I'm glad you asked that. And I should have brought my other one in here. Actually, hand me that. Yeah, that Meredith rod there. So this is not much different than my flipping setup, to be honest with you. Like I said, my reels, everything are set up pretty dang loose. Like I said, Doug, the first thing, or the David, the first thing I'll tell you, like I said, mine, I reel this thing, this right here. You take this and you adjust it all the way back as far as you can till you get that knocking back and forth. Once you get that knocking back and forth, you want to rotate that forward just a little bit, just to where it don't knock. After I get that set, I'll come over here, and depending on what magnet you have or whatever, you can see right here, I've got this one. It's almost set to free right there. I think it just goes one more knot there. So right there, you can see, it's only 1 or 2 is all I go to on that. Don't know if I can see here. See without flipping everything up here. All right. And this is another deal, guys. If you check your magnets out in there, a good rule of thumb on this one here, I'll have 2 turned up because I'm throwing usually my heavier swim jigs and stuff like that. So I'll keep 2 of them turned up. You can see there 2 of them are got the red marks on them. Now on my flipping and pitching, I will only have 1. And the reason I want 1 is I want that thing, when I throw it out there, I don't want any resistance there. I want it all with my thumb, because as soon as it hits the mat, I want to feel everything on there. So a lot of times when you're flipping that mat, it's depending on what depth you're fishing, it's going to drop down through that grass. And I want to feel every little bit going down there with that spool. So I try to keep that on there. Like I said, I'll have 1 magnet switched up, and then on the other ones, I'll crank it all the way loose, maybe do a 1 or 2 on my side setting. And then, like I said, on your shaft pressure on there on the other side, that little dial, I'll put that thing on there, and I'll, like I said, run it in there till it's loose, and then back it up just a little bit to where it's not just free falling everywhere. So Jason Beck Fishing, what's up, man? Glad to see you finally made it. Yes, Tackle Junkies, just smash that thumbs up. All right. Let's catch back up here. All right, I have a 13 fishing reel. It seems pretty smooth, but I still prefer my Lose. Yeah, Shannon, actually, I'd like to hear a little bit more about that 13 fishing. I haven't tried any of their stuff, and I know they've been blowing up everywhere, so I'd actually like to see one in person. Aaron Witzel said, Lose reel on a Dobbins or a Kuma rod. Can't go wrong. I fair with Dobbins and Kuma is getting real. Hey, dude, if you can support the have at it, man.
As long as your girlfriend's okay with it.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I'm sure as long as his wife don't find out, she's all right. All right. Chris Norris said my favorite Lose is the custom pro. Yeah, you can't go wrong with them, man. They, like I said, they're solid. That's all the way around. They're solid. That's all you can say about them.
I've got several models. I got the Tournament Pros. I got the BB1s, the BB Pros, BB1 Pros, and the MBs, and they're all pretty decent reels.
I go 2 pins and a free on the mag. Yep. That's David. That's, like I said, that's how I do it too. Like I said, I get everything as loose as I can when I'm flipping and pitching. And like we talked about the other day too, one thing you got to keep in mind when you're pitching, when I start off in the spring, I'm using usually a 3/4 to a 1 ounce tungsten. Usually when I start off, your mats aren't as thick. So I want to feel as much as I can. So I don't want to overpower the weight either. So I'll stay with that lower range. When you start getting those thicker mats, I mean, I don't even waste the time with 1.5 ounces. I just go straight to that 2 ounce for them real heavy, thick mats so I can get through. I don't want to waste much time trying to shake it on top and get it through, or, you know, trying to throw it up higher so it smashes through. I just go to that 2 ounce. That way I don't have to worry about a lot of that.
Yeah. Trying to cover water, you got to punch through quick.
Yeah, definitely. But you have to have that thumb touch or it gets of it. Yeah. Yeah. If you take your thumb off there, it's not a pretty sight. I'm not going to sit here and say that I've never had it happen. That's for sure.
If you're just starting out with the bait caster, this is my recommendation. Just to kind of piggyback off of what he said, 2 pins definitely, and start out with this dial at like 3 or 4, you know, and then your magnetic control over here, turn that up to where if you've got, say you got a 3/8 ounce jig, pressure release, and when that jig just kind of falls like this, that's a good spot to start. You know, that way it's not going to get away from you too much. And as you get more comfortable with your cast and you get some experience behind you, you can start loosening things up. You know, just take it slow, but you don't want to be fighting it right off the bat, because then you'll lose your confidence and you know, you won't be fishing with the bait caster very
definitely
well.
is a great point.
So tighten everything up at first and then work from there.
And one other thing I'll throw in there too, just off that, is when you guys are trying this, don't try it straight on the ground. Get up on like a bench or a bucket or something that you're higher off the ground, so you're not smacking your lure as soon as it leaves your rod or your hand, because that's going to get you in trouble. And what you're going to end up doing is you're going to get in a bad habit of taking that lure and flipping it up in the air. And you don't want that. That's going to get you in trouble. So get up on something higher, you know, that you're off the ground, and start using that way. And like I said, if you guys are bank fishermen, go with like a 6.6. Don't go with a 7 foot or 7'6" rod. Unless you got arms that are 4 foot long and can comfort or, you know, cope with that. But
and when you're practicing pitching on dry land, get it like I think you mentioned this in your video the other day. Get a 5-gallon bucket to pitch in and turn it on its side, because a lot of times you're coming in at an angle. You're not pitching up and then landing in something. So lay that bucket on its side and you're looking at the hole, and that kind of simulates a little hole in a laydown or something that you're trying to hit. And if you're really brave, you can get some of your wife's houseplants and put it around there, you know, just to maybe I went too
didn't
far
say
on
that.
Yeah, I went too far. Never mind. Don't do that. Don't do that. But you can. I actually have done that with some fake plants and fake trees. Just kind of set it up and, you know, paint you a nice little portrait.
Yeah, that's actually a great idea. All right, let's see here. Maybe we should be sharing tips on how to avoid getting in trouble with the girlfriends' wives.
Yeah.
You leave me out of that. I don't want nothing to do with that one. I'll say mine's sitting upstairs, so they can get ugly real quick. All right, I'm always practicing when there is ice covering my ponds and lakes. Set up a mini course practicing. There you go, man. That's actually pretty cool. I tell you, once my son Dominic, he was over here. It's been a couple months ago. We were kind of just joking around, and my dog has a ball. I don't know, it's probably about the size of a soccer ball, but it's got holes in it that are probably, I don't know, the size of a soda can, and a couple different places around it. And it's where my dog can stick her teeth or mouth in there and grab a hold of it or whatever. And I was telling him to practice with that and to see if he could hit it. And he was being a little bit of a smart aleck. I went down there and I ended up flipping in there right on the first cast, and him and my wife were down there and they're making fun of me and they're like, "Yeah, I bet you can't do that again." I actually hit it twice in the same hole. So I was pretty impressed with myself there, but that was after months and months of practicing with, just like he said, laying something on its side. I was using, you know, old coffee cans and stuff like that to try to hit those small targets. And that's actually that's really how I got better at it.
It becomes mechanical. It's the same repetition over and over when you get comfortable with it, and after a while you won't even think about it. It just kind of starts happening. You'll just focus on where you need to put that jig. Boom, it goes right in there.
You are already getting yelled at. You haven't even made it home yet.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I see that.
Doug says need to get back into practicing during winter time. Yeah, I mean, I personally save a lot of my time in the winter for, you know, doing complete real clean outs, doing all my rock underneath the patio a lot of times, and do upgrades and stuff like that. But definitely, if your fingers can handle it and you're not too cold out there, that's definitely a great time to start learning how to do that stuff. And I will tell you one other thing that will make it just a hair easier is if you have concrete or can go to a parking lot where it's a smooth concrete, that will definitely help you out a little bit easier trying to learn how to skip that jig or whatever you're throwing while doing an underhand while you're pitching. That's actually how I learned really well.
Yeah, because grass is unforgiving.
Right, exactly. So I learned standing on folding chair, flipping at a tee pitcher.
There you go.
Trevor, I hope to God that wasn't your mother's.
I had a coffee table in one of my old apartments that I lived in. I had a big loft apartment, and I had a coffee table, and I'd stand up on that and flip around the living room.
There you go. Fun. Yeah, I mean, I tell you what, for the shorthand stuff, you get pretty good at it real quick. And then you go outside and try to hit a 15-foot mark, and you're all over the place usually. But
yeah,
that's where I ran into problems.
I say flipping, but it's really pitching. Flipping is a specified.
I was trying to say that yesterday on the video. Yeah.
Somehow over the last couple of years, flipping has just been the term for it.
Yeah.
For pitching and flipping.
Yeah, Tackle Junkie and I actually had that conversation, and I told him, I said, I know it's absolutely wrong to say flipping, but it's just something I've come accustomed to, and I've never called it pitching ever.
Yeah.
It's always flipping, but yeah, there's definitely a difference. But let's see, Jason Beck, freebies make great targets. Oh, frisbees. Yeah, definitely that would. Set up underneath bushes and around trees. Your cases in the house. Yeah, as long as Jason, as long as the wife isn't around, I guess you can probably do most of that in the house. I know my wife would probably wear the rod out over my head if she caught me doing it in here, but
it's like Doug says, he's always getting the two mixed up. I guess he's talking about pitching and
flipping. Yeah. So like Gabe was saying, your flipping is actually a controlled distance of your line that you're just kind of pulling out with your hand and just dipping into a certain pocket or a certain little spot there. You're not getting but maybe 8 or 10 foot away from yourself.
Yeah, about a rod's length.
Yeah, rod length. Yeah. And pitching is you're throwing out. You're going to somewhere that's a little bit farther away and stuff. So Tracy usually isn't enthused with anything involving anything she owns. Well, I'll just leave it at that, Trevor. I'm not even going to comment on that.
Yeah, we went down a rabbit hole there. We got something started.
Yeah.
It's probably my fault.
I'll be fishing with his father here shortly, so I don't want to get anything going there. All right. It's time to tuck the kids into bed. Game. Oh, yeah. Oh, Shannon, okay.
My wife's at home, and she's going to have to handle that tonight, and I'll kiss them on the head when I get home.
There you go. All right. So now that we got a couple more people in here, I'll go back over this giveaway too. Oh. So let's see if we can get a better shot of this here. So that is the giveaway tonight, guys. It's a very nice. I'll give you a little bit closer look at that. It does say respect down there. We got a little fishing pole in for the tee. It's a very, very, very nice giveaway. And my brother is actually the one that does this. And I'll link his link down in the description and everything, and to his page and all that. He was nice enough to donate to the channel, and
it's really quality work.
Yeah, it's really good. They're really nice. Somebody's going to want that, I guarantee it. And like I said, the way you can enter, one, you can either be a new subscriber, that will get you entered. I'll refer somebody to subscribe to the channel, and make sure they comment down below that you referred them to the channel so we can put you back in there. And it doesn't matter how many people you get referred. I mean, as many people as you do, I'll enter your name every single time you refer somebody. And then last but not least, the other part was if you want to donate to the channel. I know it's a little confusing without the super chat button, but you can go to my homepage and go over to the About tab and look underneath there. And I have my Facebook link, my Instagram link. So you can go down there and donate through PayPal if you want to do that too. So, all right.
Looks like my wife's approved. That's good.
There you go. All right. It's all this is very awesome. Thanks, Doug. We appreciate it. Swimming pools work also for learning to skip. Yeah, I guess they'd work pretty good as long as you don't have a liner to get caught in. I wouldn't want to explain that one. This is awesome giveaway and great craftsmanship. Yeah, like I said, Nash Tackle Junkie, I got one for him. He's got hanging on his wall, and he loved it. So it's pretty neat. Mad Matt Fishing in the house. What's up, man? Craftsmanship is amazing. It's Lane Carter. All right, Doug Shelton. Any idea how much they cost? Actually, I think
I had a tag on it. Right?
Yeah. So these are normally $75. Like I said, it's a pretty good giveaway. And like I said, you guys go check him out. Like I said, I'll put his link down in the description. He's actually got some pretty cool stuff over there. He's done for a couple different police departments, actually, where you live, Jackson. Mm-hmm. He's got the Jackson Police Department that he did with their actual logo and everything and their shield. It's actually some pretty neat stuff in there. So you need to go check him out and see what he's got down there. So Shant's very nice. Even I'm practice pitching by standing on the cooler and pitching in the cornhole board. Man, that is a great idea. Yeah. You got a little bit of a slant there. It's not even ground. You got a nice little hole to start hitting.
You're talking about standing on the cooler. Last time I saw this guy standing on the cooler, it's in one of my videos. He didn't stand on it for very long.
No, that was I can't believe you put that in there.
Yeah, go check that out. That's a good video. It's fun.
Yeah, I took a pretty good stumble there.
But you stayed in the boat.
Yeah, that was the main thing, and I didn't break anything.
True.
So, love that flag. Your brother does great work. It'll be a great addition to my cabin. Hey, man, just get in there. You got it. How's it going, guys? How's fishing been? Mad Matt, it is. I'll tell you, it's been an odd year. Where we live, we started off the spring with, I don't know, about 18 foot of water, it seemed like, with the rain.
Yeah, it's been the winters have been kind of high and muddy the last few years, and everything was really behind this year. 3-4 weeks behind, the fish going up to spawn. I think there's multiple spawns this year because I caught fish with bloody tails in early July.
Yeah, I agree.
It's really strange. And then of course that puts the fish late getting back out on the points and stuff in the post spawn period.
Yeah, I would definitely completely agree with that because I know we fished a couple tournaments it was the same way. We were picking up fish that still had half their tails gone, and we're still up shallow yet. And I'm like, what is going on? But yeah, I think like you said, I think there were several different spawns, and I know here in my pond, usually I can watch all the fish spawn at one point in time. I mean, there are just beds everywhere. It's usually clear water, but this year, with all the rain, it was so muddy for so long, I could never see them. Mm-hmm. And I knew they had spawned. We seen bass fry all over the place, and then about a month and a half later, we seen some more spawning up in another shallow spot. So yeah, it's been a weird year, that's for sure.
I had bluegill in my pond spawn 4, maybe 5 times this year so far.
Yeah.
Anytime that water would come up a couple inches, they'd slide up shallow and they'd start setting up on the beds. And they'd wait for the water to fall and then they'd move back out and do it again when it rained again.
Yeah. And actually, I got a question for you guys. And I never thought about this until probably, I don't know, it was early this year. We were talking with a couple of guys at a fishing tournament, and they were talking. Actually, I think it was on MLF Live when they were doing a tournament at Cherokee. I think it was Cherokee. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But they were talking about pine trees and cedar trees and overhanging cedar trees in general. They said they don't ever catch fish around. Now, my thought was immediately is I'm like, hey, I've got a cedar tree that overhangs my pond, and that's where all my bluegill go.
Huh.
So I don't know. What's your guys' thoughts on that? I mean, that was kind of odd to me that they would say that, come from a lot of professionals, and they said they stay away from cedar trees. And like I said, under my cedar tree at my pond, and they've got all kinds of places they could spawn. I've got little shallow flats here and there and all kinds of stuff with rock, but they really like underneath that cedar tree.
You like that overhead protection, I guess.
And it don't even overhang that much. Yeah. Mm. Well, that may be. Yeah. And, but yeah, I just kind of want to know your guys' thoughts on that. So let's see what amazing prize. What is your line brand of choice when you pitch and flip? I'm a P-line guy.
Yeah. I like Sunline.
So Sunline, P-line. Yeah. I know a lot of guys now. What is the, there was a Japanese brand at Academy I seen last time. Actually, my nephew. No, if you're still on here, let me know the name of that because I know you knew what it was.
It wasn't Yozori, was it?
No, it's like an X8 or something. Or
yeah, I know what you're talking about. I've never tried it, but
yeah, I've actually been eyeballing that a little bit just to try it and see. But it's some pretty cheap braid. But
I like the Sunline, the FC Sniper. The Assassin is a little bit more affordable, and it comes in a 225 yard spool. So you can actually get 3 respools out of that 225. The best thing to do, and this sounds kind of obsessive compulsive, but is if you get out in your yard and you mark off with a tape measure 70 yards, put a stick out there, and then pull your old line off, cut it off right there, and that's your starting knot each time you respool. Because you don't want to take all your line off. You just want to take 65, 70 yards off, So that's one way to get, 3 spools out of that assassin.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, one thing I do is I rotate back and forth between 2 reels doing it. But I'll take it off of 1 reel and just spool it right on the next one.
That's a good idea.
And it's brand new line. Yeah, it's brand new line.
Right.
And with I mean, you can do it with braid because you're not going to have all that memory of braid. So you can do it with that. Fluorocarbon, stuff like that. That's kind of a iffy deal. Some of them work, some of them don't. I know on the P line, you can do it sometimes, but a lot of times you get down there, it's got so much memory to it.
I have flat spots in it sometimes.
Right. Yeah. So, all right, let's see here. Where were we at here? Spawn here was extremely late. It was cold water forever. Yeah, I don't know if it was so much the cold water here as it was the rain, I think, or just.
Yeah, or is this?
Yeah, Matt, where are you at? Bluegill spawn late July here. Holy cow!
Yeah, back to Mad Matt fishing there. There was a period of about a month and a half where the water stayed about the same temperature. And it was the same way in the fall, but it stayed in that low 50s, that 52, 53, 54. It's right in that range where the fish are wanting to pull up and start spawning, and they will. Based on the photo period, when the sunlight is right, they're going to pull up. But ideally, they want that water temperature in that. When you pull up to the lake in the morning and the water is 55, 56, right off, that's when you need to start looking shallow. That's when they're going to pull up. But there was a period for about a month where it stayed around 52, 53, and it just went on forever and ever. So I know what you're talking about. It's a little bit late.
So he's from northern Illinois, so
okay.
Yeah, just a little north of us, so that's probably about right, though. I mean, around Chicago, stuff like that. I bet it's
Illinois
about right.
Tall state.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten bass spaghetti? I have not.
Had fish tacos. I mean,
yeah, I ate plenty of those. I met some bluegill. Oh, it's on it. All right. Have you laid your own brush pile in your own lake? I know I have plenty of times in my pond here.
I've done that. I got a little 5-acre pond/lake behind my house, and there's a guy. I'm on the fishing committee, in the subdivision, and we'll lay out piles of wood, and we'll just get big pieces of oak and then put some wire around them in the center block and set them out in different spots. And it makes a difference.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I used the one problem I had when we bought our place and we cleaned out the pond. There was nothing but 8-inch bass all over the place, and bluegill were just huge. I mean, bigger than my hand. They were huge. But the problem is the bass didn't have enough bait fish to eat, so we ended up starting to put Christmas trees in there, which is good for bait fish. And I know a lot of people put it in there and think they're great for bass, but really they don't do much for the bass. They're good for the bait fish. They can get in and hide, and the bass can't get to them. But yeah, definitely, like you said, oak trees, stuff like that, and throw in there something a little bit bigger that the bass can get in behind and hide. So let's see here. Are those trees that should open up the opportunity to catch some giants if they're chasing bluegill under them? Yeah, that's Lane. That was kind of my deal there. That was my thinking too. Is if you've got all them bluegill up there, why would the bass stay away from that? I mean, that's an easy meal. So I'm not sure what they were getting at there, if they were just kind of blowing smoke or what was going on.
They're usually sitting right outside of those beds a lot of times.
Yeah.
They're there. They're looking. They're licking their chops.
So Chris Morris said, I use Sunline FX2, blue-green, frogging, flipping braid. Yeah, that's, like I said, that's some good line. It really is.
I'm a Power Pro guy on the braid.
The Power Pro?
Yeah, I've just always been a Power Pro guy, and I haven't tried the Sunline braid, but I know it's got to be good.
All right, Aaron said geographically roll call everyone. So Aaron's from Chester. Sean Murphy from Rochester, New York, way up there. Yep, cold and rainy, really it messed it up. Yeah. Marcio, let's see. Hey, man, I'm bass fisherman from Brazil here. How's it going, man?
Wow.
Hopefully those tips are helping you out a little bit. How did you ever fish that tournament with that 50-degree water? Kind of curious how they turned out on that. I usually take the tips from the pros with a grain of salt. Channels like yours, Tackle Junkie, Tackle Bass, and give me no nonsense tips and tricks. Hey, we try, man. Like I said, if you guys haven't checked out 10 Horse Monty, definitely go check him out. Like I said, I'll put his link down in the description for him too, so you guys can go check him out. Definitely worth the watch. Finger Lakes, New York. Joe Bruno in the house. I didn't see you sneak in earlier.
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Indianapolis, yeah.
Jacob Wheeler territory.
Yeah, definitely.
That's his hometown.
Joe, I'm guessing you just showed up. I'll say I haven't seen you comment anything unless I missed it.
What's going on, Joe? Did you watch any of the Major League Fishing? The Red Crest?
The Red Crest? No, I didn't. And that's the one thing. I know it's kind of like a deal. They're trying to change it up a little bit so everybody can watch a little bit of it. But through the week, it's tough. I mean, at work, I can't exactly just flip that on and start watching. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't think my boss would be too impressed with that. But
the advantage of my job is I'm a letter carrier. So when I get out on the street, I have a mounted route. So I'm sitting behind the wheel all day. So I can put podcast on and listen to whatever I want. So I've got lots of options out there. So I guess I'm kind of spoiled. Yeah. But I watch the elites. I watch the BAT and the BA.
Yeah, that's what Joe was just saying. Yeah, he watched the elites.
I tried to watch the MLF. I might get some haters here, but I'm not going to say much. But I'm still stuck on the
controversy going on
format,
there.
Man, I like the 5-fish format.
I'm the same way. I like the 5-fish format.
There's a lot to learn in both of them, in all of them.
There is. And my thing is when you got the MLF like that, it's going to be 90%. In my opinion, 90% finesse fishing, because you're going after anything that's going to bite. You're not going after that size, so you're not going to see these guys break down lakes like you're looking for 5 big fish, right? As you will, just they're beating the bank a lot. So that's just my opinion, though. I mean, it doesn't mean anything.
I'm with you. Same here.
All right, so Northwest Georgia. Say right by me at Joe Bruno. I fish Finger Lakes every week. Oh, you guys. Okay, I got you guys. Let's live by each other
Joe's
up there.
5 minutes from Cayuga.
Yeah, I forgot to mention 50 guys on the bank. Got 6th place. Thanks for all the nice tips. The next one will be on September 22nd. Some 3-pound line.
Good job.
That's awesome, dude.
Great job, man.
Nothing wrong with 6th place.
Top 10s are always good.
I don't see anything on MLF ever. Yeah, they're strictly, everybody's going to this. I mean, you've either got an iPad, you got a computer you're watching, or a tablet, or whatever it may be, and they're trying to go from that part of it, thinking they're going to get more views. They're trying to broaden everybody's deal on fishing. They think it's a dying sport, but I think it's blown up in the past probably 5 years.
Yeah, it's on an upward trend.
Yeah, definitely.
The problem I've had with the MLF is it drops a lot. Like you're watching it, and they'll cut to a commercial, and then it freezes and it drops, and you got to reboot it.
And then you're watching the same commercial over and over a lot.
Yeah, and to me, I don't know if that's views. I don't know how the analytics work on that. I'm not really sure the algorithms and things, but to me, it almost seems like there's some intention behind that. And my personal opinion, it seems like a little bit of game plan, but that's probably business. That's probably how all that works. So, like I said, you got to do.
I know, one of the guys I work with, he used to fish a lot in tournaments I fish, and we got talking about it a little bit, and we would turn the MLF on. In the first 2 or 3 tournaments, we were like excited. I mean, it was fun to listen to or whatever. We couldn't watch it, but we could listen to it. And it was fun to just go back and forth between all the guys and see them catch fish nonstop and everything. But after that, I mean, it died off. It was kind of weird. It was like a quick fad that went on, and then it was done. And the more people I talk to, they're the exact same way. So I don't know if MLF is going to make it or not doing all that stuff, but
they got a lot of money invested.
Yeah, that's for sure. What's the weirdest lure you've tried this year? Sharp edge? The weirdest lure.
Jeez. It's different, I would say. I don't know how weird it is, but you can take a Cinco, put a 5/0 hook in it, EWG hook, and then put a little screw-in tail spinner in there. It's a little small wheel blade. It's probably like a size style. 1 or something.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird.
Yeah,
you know, but it works, man. It's got just a little bit of flash when you pop that thing up off the bottom. It comes up out of the grass. A little bit of flash, and those fish that are sitting at the top of the grass, they see something over there, and then they kind of just work their way over there and check it out.
I'm going to have to say that probably the weirdest thing I've done this year, and the reason I started doing it is because my punch and mat bite was getting really tough.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everybody was doing it. So I actually did a 1 ounce drop shot.
Really?
That was a little different. It was weird, but it worked. I was noticing when I do my side imaging that the bass were up off the bottom about a foot or two, and I could see them on the edge of the grass there.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, well, I'll just get it off. I was trying to hold it there, it wasn't working, so I did, a drop shot, like so the 1 ounce. That actually worked pretty good. The only problem I had with it was the hookup ratio.
Yeah,
it wasn't as great. I ended up going with, I had it on a trocar flipping hook. I ended up taking that off, and I put an EWG on there and was using actually what you said, Sticko or Cinco, whatever you want to call them. And I actually started hooking up pretty decent then. It had that little bit, that open gap there.
Yeah.
And I started hooking up then, but that's probably the weirdest thing I've thrown this year. But
I just got from Tackle Warehouse 2 days ago, and I haven't tried them yet, but I got some of those Tokyo rigs, and I'm gonna be testing those out. So hopefully they'll work. They're weird looking, but it makes sense.
I see a lot of guys on YouTube using them, so I mean, but it's hard to, when you get on YouTube, and I'll tell all you guys this all the time, but you got guys on YouTube that are living around, like, let's just say Lake Fork, Gunnersville, down in Florida, and they've got bass galore everywhere down there, and it's not a problem to go out and catch 50 fish a day. When we're up here in the Midwest, and a lot of the lakes we fish, they're pretty tough, and they get fished a lot. So, either you go out there and either know what you're doing a little bit, or you're going to struggle pretty much every day. But
they keep a lot of fish too around here. Perry County Lake, you know how that is. I was fishing. I did a little video, yesterday at Lake Tawapati, which is down in Chaffee, Missouri. It's a small, like fully motor only, and I caught lots of small fish. But there were 2 other boats on the water with me that day, and they both had fish baskets hanging out of the side of their boats.
Oh yeah.
So everything that comes in the boat goes right in that fish basket.
Yeah.
So if you don't get there early spring, and get on those fish early, they're kind of starting to get cleaned out by this time of year.
Yeah. And I will say, I mean, I don't have any problem with people keeping fish most of the time.
Me either.
Because if you don't start cleaning some of the fish out, you have no growth room for any other ones.
Right.
And that's the problem we ran into my pond, bugs flying around here.
Yeah, I had one more.
And but if you don't start keeping some of them out of there, you're going to end up running it down, and everything's going to be the exact same size, and you're going to end up with runt fish everywhere.
Right.
So you do have
5 pounders that don't need to go in the
don't be throwing them in there. It'll make me cry if I see that. So let's see, sharp end is that duck that came in the mystery tackle box. Yeah, that was I will definitely agree. That duck was weird. There ain't no way I would order that thing. I forgot who I seen. Somebody had fished on YouTube, and I think the hookup ratio was just ridiculous on it. They couldn't get anything hooked up on it. They had several blow-ups on it, but couldn't get hooked up.
Looks like Tackle Junkie's out. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Yeah, thanks, man. Appreciate it.
What about that spider? Didn't somebody came out with a spider?
Yeah, that was just like a month ago.
Yeah.
That was at ICAST, actually.
Right.
I forgot what the name of that spider is, but I would
a live target maybe.
Maybe
lunker hunt. I'm not sure.
Yeah, somebody came out with that spider. It looked, I don't know. To me, it looked ridiculous. I mean,
yeah,
I see what little bluegill and stuff do to normal bugs and ripping their legs off and everything. I would think that'd be the same issue with that. I would think, but maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, it's probably like casting a shadow rat too. You got any kind of wind, I could see it planing out.
Sean Murphy, they had a punching drop shot on Tactical Bassin Day.
Tactical Bassin Day, okay.
Like what I was talking about, Sean? I'll have to go check that out. I'll see how they do it, because like I said, my success rate was not that great. I can tell you. I'll have to go check that out and see how they used it. So you guys ever Ned rig? I slammed them last year, and now I can't catch fish on it. I've used a little bit of the Ned rigs. I'm not a big fan of them. I would say for majority of the time, if I'm looking for that finesse bite, I do like the drop shot. That's kind of one of my go-to things. Either with like the robo worm, or even the Zoom trick worm. Either one of those I like. And now I've really gotten into the Biospawn plasma tail. I really like that bait. It's a lot smaller. I think it's 3.5 inch. I think is what it is. But the tail on those things, it's got a real small, slender tail, and then it comes out and widens out at the very end there at the tip. It's a different color, and I really like that. I really got bit on those. The only problem I had with it was the bluegill killed that thing. I mean, just ripped my worms apart every chance they got. So
I just picked up some of those. I haven't tried them yet.
Yeah,
they're at the house.
They're nice. I like them.
I like the idea of that tail floating up. You know, I fish a shaky head a lot. Back to the Ned rig thing. I fished a Ned rig a little bit. I got hung up so much that I kind of got turned away from it, and I did finally go to the Ned head that's got the little wire guard on it. I think it's a V guard, and that's a lot better. But I usually go to shaky head in that situation.
Oh, you're talking the VMCs?
Yeah, I think it's what it is.
Yeah.
So I usually go to the shaky head, but Ned rigs are great. They fish a lot of fish.
Let's see, Lane Carter said I'll just say throw the big girls back. Yeah, I agree with you, Lane. Definitely. If you ever get a chance to go to Bass University, it's very interesting to meet the pros and listen to them teach. I'm not sure where that's at. You know where that's at?
They have them in different parts of the country.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind going, definitely.
That's a good channel. They got a good podcast too. Pete Glusick and they have.
I've seen several of them with Swindle and Brian Thrift had one on there. I was watching a couple of other guys too.
Trevor says he's been throwing the Tokyo rig this year and he likes it a lot, so he recommends it. Well,
Trevor's into the Tokyo rig. Well, that'd be nice. Maybe you ought to come fish a couple tournaments, Trevor, since you bailed out on me this year. I don't let Trevor in my boat anymore because he breaks everything. He ripped my whole entire trolling motor cord off last year.
I'm just being quiet over here. Listen, I'm all ears.
Great show, guys. Got to go. All right, Shannon. Thanks for stopping. Appreciate it. Doug. Lunker Hunt. It's after that spotter. Yeah.
Okay. Right.
I'm just really looking at the new Mega Bass lures.
Mega Bass, man. They're worth it.
Yeah,
they're good stuff.
They're proud of it. They're proud of it. Yeah, they work good. That's what we were talking. I think it was on the first live stream I did. We were actually talking about the Vision.
Yeah. I just bought my first Vision 110 last winter. I started off with the $10 and less jerk baits for a long time, and then I moved up to the Lucky Crafts, which are $13 to $15. I finally broke down and bought some Vision 110s. I caught a lot of fish on them.
They work good.
They're different. Like you got the RC stick, the Rick Clun version by Lucky Strike, and they look real similar. It's the RX stick, I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's a Rick Clun or whatever. But they look really similar, but they have a different sound and a little bit different action. You can put them, tie one on two different rods, one on one rod, one on the other, and jerk them and see what they look like. They're different. They just have a different sound. If you can catch them on the cheaper one, man, do it. But sometimes when they need something just a little bit different, that Vision 110 is good stuff.
All right. So, yes, like you were doing it with the drop shots. Back here. Yeah, I'm going to have to go look at that. I'm actually really interested in that because, like I said, that was something I tried this year. I had never did it. And, I mean, I caught a few, but I didn't have any great ones by any means.
Were you using braid or did you have heavy?
Yeah, I had braid.
Okay.
Yeah. It was actually a Kincaid.
I've never done that.
Like I said, it's a different feel, but like I said, my problem is when they, on a normal, when you're punching a mat, you go through and you usually feel them just tank that thing usually, or, you see it going off. With that thing, if it goes down, you're just shaking it there a little bit and they go to grab it. A lot of times you don't even feel it.
It's like a Carolina ring. I mean, you just don't feel it.
Yeah, you just don't even feel it. So that was the problem I ran into. Like I said, maybe I'm doing something wrong too. So I'm going to go check that out and see how they do it. Is there anything live target good? I don't know, Scott. I have a crankbait. What is it? The live target bait ball?
Yeah, with the little pictures in
it.
Or whatever.
I bought that 2 years ago, I guess. Maybe a year ago, something like that. And actually threw it at Friend Lake.
Okay.
Was out hitting some deeper holes coming off of it was a main lake hump out there. And I actually caught I don't know, probably 4 or 5 off of there just in a school and had them fired up for about 15, 20 minutes, but it was never anything good size. But that's really the only time I've ever caught anything on it.
I mean, that's for the fisherman's eyes just as much as the fish's.
Yeah.
That's one thing you got to remember. There's a lot of baits out there that are sold to attract. They're set up. They're marketed to attract fishermen.
Yeah.
And they'll work too, you know.
Yeah. And that's like we were going over the frogs. You know, everybody was talking about frogs and look at this one, look at that one. And you look on the website, you never see the bottom of a frog on there. I mean, the fish don't ever see the top. So
yeah,
you know, it doesn't matter. That's just so you on.
Hold that sucker up to the sun or the clouds and see what you see, and that's what the fish is going to see.
Yeah, exactly. So let's see. What do you guys think about the people throwing giant spoons? Sharp edge. I'm a spoon guy, especially down at Kentucky Lake. You get out on some deep ledges. That's a good place to throw them. I would say around where we live, there's really not too many other places you could throw it.
No, you can catch them a little bit, like over at Cedar in the post spawn when they move out on those points and they just start getting out there. You can throw that big spoon, but you can throw a lot of stuff. I mean, in my opinion, why ruin your shoulder jerking something around when you can catch them on a lot of different? You got more options than that big spoon.
Right, definitely. See, Sean Beltran, what kind of fuel treatment do you guys use? I have the Mercury Pro XS 115, and I use a Seafoam, and it didn't like it at all. I'm actually a Starbright guy.
Yeah.
I've used Starbright, and I've also used what's the other one? There's another one. I'll have to look it up, but there's another one I use that I like quite a bit too. So I have no problems with it.
I fish mainly out of 10 horse. I got a 9.9 Nissan 9.9, so that's 10 horse Monty. That's where that comes from. And I'm fishing out of it all the time. So I just put whatever's at the gas station. I run the 91, any additives in it. You know, it's not sitting in my tank very long. It's just rotating. So that's another thing. If you're burning through your fuel often, you don't have to worry about it as much. But if you got a bigger boat and maybe it's sitting for 3-4 weeks at a time, you need to run that ethanol free or some kind of additive.
All right, guys, my chat deal looks like it froze up here. I don't know what's going on with that thing.
By the way, Casey's General Store, they started carrying the ethanol free gas a while back, which is really, really nice.
Yeah, I will say for the most part, I stick with one place of getting gas, and I use the premium, and I've used the fuel treatment too, but there's a couple. I think there's 2 or 3 places here in town that actually sell the no ethanol gas yet.
Yeah,
pay a little bit extra for it.
Most of the pros they run just regular gasoline because they're just blowing through it. And they'll add an additive every once in a while.
Let's see if I can refresh this here. All right.
Jay's going to bed.
$3 fish, man. I didn't even see you come in. Stable. There you go.
Stable.
Thanks, Joe.
Yep.
I don't know what was going on with the chat here. Let's see if we can get back here. There. Now we got them. All right. Let's go back up listening here. All right. Great listening to you guys. It's time for bed. Jay Baston, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Let's see. Where did I go now?
You're right here. Somewhere
All right, there you go. Seafoam, you watching too much at Linder? I won't even say anything about that.
I love the Linders.
Yeah, I used to
talking about.
Yeah, I used to watch them all the time growing up. And then they're St. Croix rods. Till I started looking at prices, and I'm like, oh, okay.
There's I think it's a Bass Talk Live where they were on there not too long ago. If I remember right. Man, they're awesome. I love listening to those guys.
Have you guys used the new Dark Sleeper swim baits by Mega Bass? I have not.
I have not either.
No. I tell you, Sean, probably one of my top. I mean, everybody's big Huddleston people. That 2 years ago just blew up after Tackle Bassin started coming out with them and telling everybody about these Huddlestons. And I mean, you couldn't even order a Huddleston for about 6 months. But I would say I think it's called the All American Trash Fish. Yeah. That Tactical Bassin was actually promoting there for a little bit. That's actually a really good one to use in the winter if you're going to winter fish. I still have, I think, 2 or 3 Huddlestons. That's what I use just because of the boot tail. Because you're reeling it so slow, you've got to have something down there that's got to have action to it, and that's where a lot of companies struggle. You know, they might put out the exact same thing as a Huddleston, but if they don't have that plastic just right, it just swims through the water straight as an arrow and it never moves. So, but I'll have to look at the Dark Sleeper and see what that's all about. The Mega Bass. See, I've started to branch out into more expensive gear, and boy,
get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's exactly right. You get what you pay for.
I mean, there's shortcuts, but ultimately you get what you pay for.
Trevor says, yeah, did you finally put a G-Force handle on it or put it on a junk one on there? No, I put a G-Force after you broke it after it was brand new. Thanks, Trevor. All right. So, not sure you mentioning what rods are using today. Doesn't micro guides make it affect more distance? Yeah, the micro guides definitely make a bigger difference for going long range cast. It's going to keep that line from smacking around in there so much, and you get a little bit better distance with it. And they're a little bit more sensitive too.
Yeah, so they are sensitive, but they're fragile, like we spoke about earlier.
I can tell you, you only step on those one time and they are done. Right. That is for sure.
$3 fish.
Yeah, that's what I said, man. Our comments were kind of freezing up there. $3 fish. I didn't even see you come in, but I'm glad you made it. Yeah, that's weird. The Joe Bruno one showed up like way a while ago, but none of these other ones did.
Yeah.
So Lucas has a new additive from Marine, I believe. Yeah, Chris, I haven't used any of the Lucas stuff. The Stable I used and the Starbright.
I've used the Lucas hub oil in
the hub
my
oil,
Ranger trailer. They make a pretty good product.
Let's see, you guys hear about the Elite that got robbed? Well, I don't think I would have been able to fish. I lost all my stuff.
I didn't hear about that.
No, I didn't hear anything about that either.
Yeah,
I can definitely relate to it. I had one of the very first tournaments I ever went to, had all my stuff in my car ready to go, meet the guy the next morning, go out to my car, and all my stuff was gone. So
yeah, I've never had any fishing stuff stolen, but I was playing a gig up in St. Louis. I played bass too, and I set my bass down in a corner for 5 minutes, came back and it was gone.
Oh man, that sucks.
There's thieves everywhere. You got to be careful.
Yeah, definitely. So, let's see, Skip Kincaid and opted for Lake of the Ozarks. Never been here before, and it's been rough. Big of a trip so far. It's 4 even.
Doug's out. Good night, Doug. Thanks for stopping by, man.
Thanks, man. Skip Kincaid opted for Lake of the Ozarks. $3 fish. Where are you from, actually?
Lake of the Ozarks. Lake of the Ozarks can be tough. I get down there about once or twice a year. Sometimes I'll fish that big bass bash.
Saldane's Mega Bass Couples.
Oh, really? Wow.
Wow. Yeah, that was a. Whew, they ran away with some money there. Good God.
But Lake of the Ozarks.
Oh, that's a
jig lake. You know.
I mean, yeah, I would agree. Yes, jig definitely.
It's just a matter of figuring out where they're at. You know, they in the fronts of those coves, or they mid, they in the back. You gotta. I would pick. I would pick a major arm, not like the river or something, but just pick a nice cove and start out on the main lake point, and just go all the way in one side and go all the way back out the other side. Fish everything in, and it might take a couple hours, and see if you find something going on that way. You start getting bid in the first couple docks, then run out and go to the next cove and try that. And that's kind of how you got to do it. It's a process of elimination. It's tough going to a new body of water, and that's a big lake. So it's got thousands and thousands of docks.
Yep. Yeah, I fish down there a couple times a year usually, and it's never the same for me, at least. You know, I go 3 different times a year, so.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you play a lot of that of just going in and out and trying to find out where they're at and staged and everything. It's be a lot of fun too, though.
The crappie pose, like the rod holders. If there's rod holders on the docks, there's most likely some brush around them.
Yep, definitely. Yep. Let's see. The mission. Oh, okay, $3 fish. I didn't know if you were talking about Kincaid down here where we live or what. So it'd be a road trip, man. Yeah, it'd be a pretty good little haul there.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for now. I've been on here for about an hour and 20 minutes. So, like I said, make sure you guys get somebody to subscribe, refer them over here, get them on channel, and comment down below. And like I said, we're going to give that.
That's the giveaway right there, man.
Yep.
You're just getting on here.
Yep. You got all week long to do it. And
Sweet.
I will announce the winner actually next Monday on the live stream, and we'll get that going. Like I said, you can either donate, like I said, to my PayPal account on here, which is under the About tab on my homepage under donations, and the link is underneath the Facebook and Instagram links. Or you can refer somebody and tell them to write your name down in the comments. Or if you're just a new subscriber, that'll get you entered too. So it doesn't matter how many times you guys get in here and get somebody on here. Just make sure they comment your name so I know how many times you put you in there, and then we'll do the random drawing for it. So, all right, guys, thanks for joining in, and we'll see you all next Monday.
Appreciate it, guys. Good to see you. Good to see you. I didn't see anybody.